What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders and the House of the Dragon. Here we are at about $585, 10 hours, 18 minutes left in the day on this, the 25th day of January. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We're just moving sideways. We're not really doing a whole lot. We have broken out of this kind of channel, right? We broke out of this. The volume backs that up. But as we continued to break out, as we went lower, the volume stopped backing that up. There was less less gas in the tank to push it down. We still can go lower. We can go lower than this low, and we can see less volume come in still. I'm not expecting that person, and that's not the call, but for the sake of that point of discussion, from a low to a high, if we were to move lower, the expectation then would be that we go down to about 553 to 510, something in that area. I mean, it's certainly possible, right? And I know we discussed yesterday the possibility of going. I think it was specifically like 530 to 520 to 550, something in that area, 540. I forget what the reasons were for expecting that, but Bitcoin Cash does like to find support just below its 0.5. So something in there could happen. Again, we can move lower. We can get less volume, and then from there move up. It doesn't have to be. This does not have to be the low. I'm sticking with this as the low until we close below the 382. If we close below the 382 at $582.57, if we close below there on any daily closing time frame, then we become bearish at least to 553, at most to 510. Likely we don't go below 510. Okay. But 585 here, there's certainly promising prospects to go down there if we close below 582.57. I want to look at the short-term stuff and see what's going on, see if we can expect a move up, or are we going to get an end-of-month dump? Is that what's about to happen? Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. Let's dive into it. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. As you're moving down, you can see, right? I mean, you've got your little whatever consolidation phase here. You're breaking out, you're moving down. There's just no volume at all. That doesn't mean you can't move lower, but no volume at all. We're breaking out here, breaking below this low, and no volume at all. In fact, you're actually in this low volume environment, you're even losing volume. So that's encouraging. There's a gap here to the upside. That's also encouraging. Typically, we fill these 1 hour gaps on Coinbase. Typically. Are there any gaps down here? I don't see any gaps. No gaps. Let's see. What about low to high? Let's take. Do I want to take this low? I feel like that's like a scam wick. I might take this low. Low to high here. Right below the 382. And you've closed below there. I don't know. I could see us going down to 578, 575. What does that put us in terms of this overall high to low? Or low to high? I mean, it could happen. It could definitely happen. I mean, maybe we find support right around 583, 580. Maybe we go just a little bit lower than that and then we come back up. I don't know. There's 10 hours left in the day. There's definitely a lot of time to do things. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, I could definitely see us going lower, but we're just not getting too much volume. The RSI is bearish. The stochastics, the MACD, they're all bearish, but you're in your oversold areas. You're in the areas that you typically have found support and moved up from. So, I mean, the oscillators are the lowest they've been. And all we have here are just higher lows, right? The oscillators have been coming down this whole time. The MACD, the histogram, it's not at the lowest readings that we've seen recently, at least on the 1 hour, but it's getting there. Again, a little bit lower, but I just don't think that we go too much lower. 4 hour time frame, looking at this, the RSI is bearish. It's coming back down. I have no problem with the price. Come on now. I have no problem with the price seeing a lower low. I just, at this point, I don't feel confident in making that call. It's hard to say. If we do go lower, 550, 510, that area will hold support. Stochastics are bearish. MACD is technically bullish here. You would expect a bounce right here. And the RSI, you could expect a bounce here too. We've bounced here plenty of times on the 4 hour time frame, right around this area. Just above, just below, right at it, right at it, right at it, right there, right there. I mean, we've bounced right from this area plenty of times. So if we go lower, I'm not expecting too much lower because our stochastics are reset, our MACD's right at a point to bounce. RSI looks good. I mean, it looks bad actually, but it looks good for an area to bounce at least. At the very least, we'll kind of like grind out this area, maybe reset our indicators and then push lower. But at this point, I'm having a hard time imagining we go below this low. I shouldn't say that. I'm not having a hard time imagining it. I'm having a hard time believing that it will happen. But we'll see. If it does happen, if we do go below this low, again, 550 to 510, that is that area that we're looking for to provide us a nice solid area of support. And then we should move back higher. Once we get back above like $620, $630, that should be when we start to break out. We look at the daily time frame, and again, the RSI here, rejecting the 50, the call that we made back here on the 23rd, which is just 2 days ago, is that by the end of this weekend, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, we close at the 40, and then we bounce off the 40. That's what we're looking for. To get down there, we need red days, but we don't need gigantic red days, right? Just little red days like this. This is essentially the call that we made back on, what was that, on Friday. The MACD is reset. We're back at the zero. We're dying off our bearish momentum, right? Bearish momentum was building here. Now it's dying off. We're right at the zero with our oscillators. It's a perfect area to bounce. It makes sense to me. Stochastics have reset. They're also kind of, I guess, technically bearish right now. But you've got bullish prospects, you know, being down here coming out of the oversold zone. You would think that you come up here. Sometimes it's a little bit messy. It's not perfect, but you still make it happen. Sometimes you cross down, but you still make it happen. And then the RSI, again, if it holds support at the 40, I'd really be bullish there. If we go below the 40, that could be problematic because then we would probably get in the oversold zone. And again, that might correlate directly with the move that does take us down to that next level. But even if we do that, again, that's a pretty standard retracement in the grand aspect of this overall range that we just broke out of. From like a high to a low, you'd still probably have a higher low overall and then move up from there. If we go below this low, the amount of time and the amount of price distance that we drop, it's not going to be significant, and it'll be very short-lived. You'll blink, you wake up in a week, and it'll all be over. You know, it'll all be back to normal, and even better than that. Anyways, I don't really think I have anything else I want to say. Weekly RSI looks bullish. MACD, stochastics, they look bullish. We just got to start doing bullish things, man. That's it. Once we get a day to close above about 600, I said 630. I think it's more like 650. Get a day to close above about 650. That's when it's time to get excited. That's whenever the move that we've been waiting for should be taking place. And what a massive move it is. My expectation is that we'll go somewhere around this top area here. We're at 585, talking about prices from anywhere in like the 2,500 area to the $5,000 area, maybe even a little bit higher than that. Very immense potential, and this probably happens by the end of March. And let me say this again, we probably get here by the end of March, right? We start to break out, I would assume, sometime in February. It could be by the end of February that we're up here. I had one guy, I said this the other day, I think it was about Bitcoin Cash. I had one guy say it could be February, March, or April. Man, it could be like what, 2027, 2028, 2029? I'm like, dude, you're stretching the words. You're taking something that I said and you're not making it what I said, right? Saying that we could top off here at the end of February, and then also saying maybe it's the beginning of April. The end of February to the beginning of April, if you look at it, you can think, okay, February, March, April, so you're giving me a 3-month range. But that's exaggerating, because really what I said was the end of February to the beginning of April. Like last week of February, first week of April. That's at most like a month and a half, which is at most half of 3 months, right? So I'm not giving you a 3-month range. Let's not pretend. Let's not be silly. It's a very specific range. It's a very specific range in time. It's about like a 35-day range. From the end of February, which I've already said I don't think will happen. It's probably not. We probably don't get up here by the end of February. We will be breaking out in February. We will be moving up in February, but we probably get here sometime in March. Okay, beginning of March, end of March, I don't know. But this move could take until the very, very, very beginning of April as well to get up here. But I don't think that it'll take longer than that. And that's all. Those are 3 different months: February, March, April. But that's not a 3-month time frame that we're working with. And most specifically, it's like a 1-month time frame that we're working with, because I would expect that it's sometime by the end, probably in March, that we get up here. But I'm being too specific. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. 585 now, 580 later, maybe 550, 510 at the worst, and then we move up. I don't believe we go to 550. I don't believe we go to 510. I'll let you know if that changes. Okay, I'll make videos every single day. At the moment, I do believe that we hold this low that we found a few days ago, like about 5 days ago. I do believe that we hold this low here, support, and I do believe that we move up from there. Take care. Bye-bye.